You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's 24 Live Another Day After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's 24 Live Another Day After Show.
I always get so excited.
I know.
Welcome, AfterBuzzers, to another episode of 24 Live Another Day. I'm your host, Nando Velasquez. Joining me along our illustrious panel, right to my right is...
Howdy, I'm Jeffrey Masters.
Jeffrey Masters. And over to my left...
Hi, I'm Roxy Stryer.
Followed by...
I'm going to do a combo of both ears. Howdy, I'm Danny Hoyt.
But
It
then
was
you
your
gotta
word
throw a
with
kiss.
her voice.
I'm pissed.
There you go. Beautiful. Awesome.
You got it. You got to throw it in there. Come on, guys.
There you go. Blow a kiss. This is the dating
Yeah.
game.
It's just my thing.
There you
I
go.
don't know.
I love it.
And honor the Bachelorette premiere.
Yes,
Totally.
exactly.
Which I'm hosting right after this.
Wow. Early plug. Early plug alert. Well, let's talk about
Thanks,
this
Jeff.
episode. It's 2 p.m. On 24. It's immediately after what happened last week, which involved Jack grazing, according to him, 2 innocent people to start a riot and get himself into the embassy in order to, I guess we weren't 100% clear on what he was getting in there for, but now we obviously realize he was getting there to get to Lieutenant Tanner to get the flight keys.
Right.
So
Get that
really,
evidence.
really, I love this episode. This to me is a classic 24 type episode. It's almost like a bottle episode where the whole thing for Jack at least is about getting into a place and then figuring out how to get the hell out.
Yeah. He didn't have a plan. He just, as long as he gets in there and gets
Yeah.
it. figure
Also,
it
he's
out.
like Bing Jack Bauer. He's like shooting the good guys, like protecting the hostages, but he's taking hostages.
Yeah.
He has that one speech. He's like, I'm going to kill the hostages. He goes, I'm really not going to kill you. I just want them to
Yeah.
believe me.
Also, never caring about himself and whether he makes it out alive, but just caring about the end result. Very Jack Bauer-esque.
Oh, this was such a good episode. This is such a good show. I'm so excited that it's back.
Awesome. So we definitely see him going in, and one of the first things he does is he grabs one of the U.S. Embassy guards, workers, officers.
Can we talk about how he put him to sleep, though?
I thought that was amazing.
it
That's
was
what I was gonna say.
extremely aggressive.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
borderline, I'm going to break your neck.
But he didn't.
But he
He
didn't.
didn't.
Got him to sleep pretty quick. But it was very aggressive.
It was a major sleeper hole. It was very
you ever,
WWE.
put somebody to sleep in a sleeper hold?
No.
Yeah, I sing him a lullaby. No, wait. How do you mean if they put him to sleep? They didn't kill him?
Let's
No,
do it.
no.
Roxy, turn this way. I'm just
Alright,
kidding.
yeah,
No,
for
but
example.
it's arm around, and it's this move.
You can
You've
do
cut off
it.
the air supply. But the thing is, when he did it, usually you can
He's
just hold
pumping-
him.
he's
he
pumping
was
it.
pumping
Wait, have you
it
done
and
that
jerking.
before?
I have.
Why have you done that before?
Well, it was
You're
kind of a thing
kidding.
we did when we were like 14 or 15. We thought it was funny to like,
Backyard
put each other to
wrestling
sleep.
type stuff.
So you,
Yes.
you pump it and they just lose oxygen, but they don't die.
Because you're hitting a vein, I guess. You're-
Pump
Oh,
wouldn't be my
God.
operative
So he's
word I would
losing blood.
choose to use.
Yeah.
However, when you're
It's like
here,
a pulsating.
well, he jerked. He was like jerking his neck like this.
Yeah.
Jack's a jerker.
He was.
Sorry.
But
That was
really,
intense.
our producer Marissa is
Marissa's
shaking her
not
head.
pleased.
No, she's not pleased
Oh,
with that one.
She does too many shows with me to be disappointed in that. She's heard worse.
But still, really aggressive move.
Yeah.
But of course, Jack not willing to hurt anyone, any officer at all.
Yeah.
That seems to be always a thing with him.
He's got an underlying moral code all the
Yes,
time.
underlying moral code. He manages to get his key card from the guy he just made pass out, and if you're looking on AfterBuzz TV, we're doing something weird.
Wait, but that's a really good point because right now, if you are trying to watch us or listen to us, you should either be on YouTube or on iTunes. Our site currently not in the best shape. It will be back up and running and strong soon.
Oh,
but
yes.
if you're trying to talk to us, comment with us, always on YouTube and iTunes. There we are.
We did have some technical difficulties during the week for anyone trying to tune into one of our other 50 plus AfterBuzz shows here. So just like Roxy said, I might as well do the iTunes plug right now too. If you're listening to us on iTunes, then please thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. We're definitely on the top of the charts, which we appreciate. Thanks to you. Please rate us. Please comment to us if you want to have a little bit more of an interactive conversation with us. YouTube is always the best way to go.
I will tell you guys, we read all those.
Yeah.
So if you got questions or you comments or you want Roxy to wear her hair on top of her head next week, let us know what you want. Like,
I'll do
we're
it.
here for you guys.
Yes,
I'll do it.
absolutely.
So-
I won't do shout outs this week because I'm not ready for it, but we do shout outs. And there were so many last week, so many people listening.
Especially the
Yeah.
D-White 7. I mean,
which is awesome. Oh, yeah.
All right, we gotta get back to the show.
Anyway, okay, now that we had that little PSA.
Pat made me do that. That was the social. That was
no, of course. But
I was reading
Nando
them
gave you a
off,
shout out last
and I
week.
gave
thought that
you
was
a
funny.
shout out,
Sorry.
Danny.
Anyway,
I love you, Danny. I gave you a shout out on YouTube. Okay, so anyway, so Jack has the key card,
yes.
okay, and he gets into Lieutenant Tanner's room.
And here's my problem with this. Can we pause right there?
Yeah, sure.
Did you guys feel that it was fairly easy for Jack to get to Tanner? I mean, minus the grazing the people intentionally, but once he got in the building, he put the guy to sleep, put on his jacket, got his key card, and got to Tanner.
Well, don't forget he has Chloe as help.
However, he got there. I thought it seemed a little easy to me.
It
That was my
didn't
only
bother
thing.
me. There was like a revolution going on outside.
And Tanner was just like, Tanner wasn't in like a locked, but no glass, doors. He was in a room that you can walk by and be like, oh, let me talk to my boss real quick. I got a window on the, like, it was just like
He's not trying to break out though.
Well,
Still,
the
it
only
seemed
thing
like
that
minimal
helped with
security
that,
for me.
It was, but the only thing that helped with that was there was actually a surprise person in the room. That was the only thing that made me feel a little better. Although
One, though?
I just don't understand this whole turning your back to Jack Bauer. Like, you all know about him. How could you not know his face
He
at
did
this
not-
point? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Most people know his face, but then there's a select few who turn their back to him, and
I mean,
obviously
those are
he's
the
gonna-
Marines.
I
not
don't think the
CIA.
Marines know the most wanted list on the CIA for terrorism.
But still,
I think I would.
he's freaking Jack. He's like a legend.
Yeah.
I think I would still know. You'd hear tales. What would I talk about when I'm, overseas or I'm
Right.
in boot camp? Like we're talking
You're
this
Jack
crazy
Bauer.
guy.
Oh my! Can I have your autograph?
I might ask for his autograph, but here's my thing. There's
You can
one.
sleeper me after you give me your
There's
autograph.
Did you just say he can sleep with you or
Sleeper.
sleeper me?
Sleeper.
God, just wanted to clarify.
Both.
There's one window on the door and you can see in the room. And this guy just killed U.S. servicemen and women.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just thought he would be under a little more lock and key.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he supposedly did.
Supposedly did. Well, we have to assume that not only the person in the room with Tanner, but all the other officers that Jack passed on the way saw the flak jacket,
Yeah.
and the ID, and just let him go through.
I guess if I'm Jack, I'm thinking, I'm gonna get in there no matter what. I just thought, if I'm Jack, I'm also gonna get in the room and be like, God, that was kind of easy.
It was super. Well, don't forget he's been gone for 4 years. No one's seen hide or hair of him for 4 years too.
I think also you gotta
So.
think that it's like just a panic at the disco / headquarters, and like nobody's thinking about anything other than, oh my god, we gotta.
Well, don't forget.
lock those
I mean,
doors.
let's just get to the. It's kind of like let's just get to the point. He's gonna get there. We know he is.
Yeah,
so
sure.
he finds a way to get through. He sneaks around. He's got the extra. Costume, the outfit that makes him
Yeah.
passable. He gets in there. He confronts the. I wrote down the name of the guy, but he confronts the Marine that's there, and the Marine gets a phone. Of course, right when Jack almost convinces them to
course.
leave the room, the phone rings.
The phone rings that
And
says
it's like
Jack Bauer's in the building.
Yeah, and Jack knows it's going to say, that
Right.
he's in the building. So the Marine, of course, decides to go for the phone, turns his back. Jack conks him out.
Gosh, if
Idiot.
there's a classic no-no with Jack Bauer, you don't turn your back.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you wouldn't turn your back to anybody you were skeptical of. I wouldn't.
I guess he wasn't skeptical.
Not when he had, but seconds before he had his hand on his gun.
Yeah.
But
He's
also,
skeptical.
He's skeptical, yes, but I think skeptical, like, who is this person? Not, it's Jack Bauer.
It's
been
a
4 years,
terrorist.
he's
Right.
not in the top of their mind. He's not even in the back of their
No, I'm
mind.
not saying it's Jack Bauer. I'm saying any
Who
guy
is
that comes in the
this?
room.
Who is
You-
this man telling me to leave the room?
You have
don't
your hand
forget,
potentially on a gun.
the
and then you turn your
English,
back.
the English people want to have Tanner's head on a platter right now. So he walks in with an American accent, wearing an embassy jacket.
on a
So-
second floor room with 17 windows.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good
that's
point.
my only
if you go to
thing.
American accent in England, I'm going to trust you.
There you go. In the U.S. embassy,
Yeah.
more likely to be trusted,
Yeah.
right? There you go.
But I
Debatable.
love Jack's like little acting chops. Like,
Well-
I'm here to escort both of you out of here.
Yes.
Follow me.
He's
Yeah.
like, oh, I can improvise with this.
He
Okay,
role,
you
he
go
role
to.
played that well. I want to know though the time, the amount of time that he hit the guy in the back of the head and knocked him out with the gun. It was the base end of a gun, and the guy was out for
He was
about
like
3
4
min-
minutes, yeah.
3-4 minutes tops. Thought he'd be out a little longer than that, but
Well,
he seemed to
So if
recollect.
you had done it, he would have been out longer. Is what you're
no,
saying?
I'm
You
saying
have all
if I
that
would have got
practice.
hit, I would have been out for about 2 hours.
But did they wake him?
He woke when they walked in the room. He just
Yeah.
simultaneously
Kinda
like,
woke up.
I'm up now, and I
Yeah, 'cause
remember
he gave him that piece of
every
advice.
detail about Jack.
Yeah, not foggy at all. Just like, ow, my head hurts. Now let me tell you
So
what happened.
so for me, there's a little couple details like that I feel like could have been played out. However, they're not super important to this story. And with 12 hours less this season, it's not as important.
Yeah,
for
I mean,
little details.
you can always really comb over every detail with fine tooth comb when it comes to the time format. I mean, I still feel like there are places in LA that you can't drive in 20 minutes, even no matter what time of day from past seasons. So I think we have to disbelieve a tiny bit, and it feels there's a lot that you pack in an hour on 24 that I think in real life a lot of people couldn't do.
I'm
And 12 hours
wondering
less.
where this time is going to come, though, because we haven't skipped any time. I know next week we're starting off at the same time that we left off. Do we think, because they didn't really tell us, is there going to just be one major time jump?
Maybe the show should have been called 12. They have 12 episodes. Maybe it's 12.
No,
in
we
a row.
know that they're going to go through a 24-hour period, so I don't know. Is there just going to be one very large time jump where everybody was kind of sitting on their thumbs?
I didn't think about that, but if they do jump times, it probably will be like fairly soon. It won't be like 5 years later.
Well,
No, it's the same day.
it has to be
it
the
is.
same day
12
because it's
episodes.
24. Well, will the last hour end at 11 a.m.? That's the other thing too. Will the last hour end at 11 a.m.
It'll
to
be
make
middle.
it full
It'll be
24?
jumps in the middle of the night, or
Yeah,
it'll be
probably.
something
Yeah, but we are in the middle.
People get to sleep. No,
Well, in the
2 in
middle of the day.
afternoon.
We're in the middle of the day.
I
yeah.
love when Kate was like, he was in our custody this morning. I was like, oh yeah, it's the same day.
It's almost as great as every time they say, yeah, by the end of the hour. I'm like, oh, right, we're watching a
Only
TV show. They're very aware.
It was less than 3 hours ago when this happened.
Yeah.
When he was in custody. It was 3 hours ago, which was crazy. Anyway, getting back to that scene with Tanner. He actually, maybe the other military guy didn't trust Jack enough, but he still turned his back. But it was important that Tanner trusted Jack because Jack is the only one, as he said, on his side. He's the only person that believes that Tanner didn't pilot the drones himself.
Right. If I was Tanner, I would trust Jack too, because why not? He says, son, right now, the point is that I believe you. That's all you have to know, because what else you got? Nothing. You have nothing going for you. And it's funny how the situation ends up, which we'll get to, but it ends up being reversed with Kate looking at Jack saying, because I believe you and that's all you have. So, it really went full circle
It
there.
was a great reverse.
Yeah, I think it was you that said while we were watching it, like, oh, he has those trusting eyes.
Yeah, he
like when Jack Bauer
does.
says, I believe you, I'm on your side, you say, okay, daddy, whatever you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
It's funny that you say
odd.
daddy. He's taken a very fatherly role 2 times that we've really noticed. But one was when he hugged Chloe. He put aside everything, he hugged Chloe, and 2, he called this kid son. And that was to get him to trust you. Yeah, so it's interesting you say daddy. Is something I took a note on, that he's taken on a little bit of like a fatherly role. We fast forwarded 4 years in his life. Jack's maybe getting a little sentimental.
He's very.
Jack also knows what to do to get what he wants.
Yeah, that's true. But I think those are genuine feelings. I don't think he was playing a role there. I think those were
Or even when he was talking.
caring, like son, like listen, son, I'm out for your good.
Well, the thing about Jack, I always feel, is that he's incredibly passionate, whatever his cause is. So it's not just the eyes; it's the intensity. But it's also, he shows some vulnerability when he's talking to someone, like when he was doing to Tanner, or even with Kate.
Yeah.
When they were talking, he's definitely, you know where he's at because he lays it all out.
Right. I do think we're seeing a little different side of Jack, though. On top of being fatherly, just kind of maturing. Last week when he's talking to Cross and he says, please, and he's trying to get him to go his way.
That's right.
And it's interesting because it comes up later in tonight's episode when Audrey's saying, I know him, and Mark's saying he's not the guy you used to know. That whole thing, is Jack the same Jack that we used to know? I'm not sure. I don't really think he is. I think he's evolved a little bit. In a better way, not for the way they were phrasing, but in a better way.
I think everybody has, obviously Chloe's a drastic example, but I think everybody has changed drastically.
Oh yeah, well, especially Chloe's eye makeup. That's for sure. That's changed a lot.
Yeah, that's really bothering you guys.
It's distracting for some reason. I've never been distracted by eye makeup before.
It just got redone very darkly for this episode, and it was very prominent.
Well, it's just like, did you take a bathroom break? Like, when did you go do that?
in between episodes.
In between
Yeah.
episodes, while she's on the computer, she's just got a little mirror on the side there, just doing it when
Of
we're
course.
not seeing. Anyway, so Jack ends up getting the flight key from Tanner, and before he gets to get away, the Marines get in the room, find out that he's got an access key from the recently reawoken Marine, and they close off all key access. So Jack ends up going to a shielded communication room. His only option, he decides, is to sacrifice himself and just get the data key, the flight keypad information to Chloe. so that Open Cell can have the information, and he makes Chloe swear that she'll give it to President Heller.
I am curious though. So we know that not all of the military is behind. There could be some moles somewhere, but we know that they're not all behind this. So if they say they've gone over this what is it? The keypad,
The flight pad?
the
The flight key.
the
Excuse me.
flight key. They've gone over the flight key and they have found nothing. What exactly is Jack thinking that they're going to find? They're going to see, so look deeper and find something different, or
yeah.
how's everybody missing it?
I think it's that Chloe and this hacker group have like the technology and like the skill set to see when it's been hacked into.
It's one piece of the puzzle, and Chloe right now and Open Cell have the other pieces. So I think if they just have the whole thing together like a little portfolio, they can show it.
Because I would venture to
Heller.
say that the military has equal, if not greater, technology.
But they're
course.
going in already thinking that Tanner's guilty.
Right.
Jack's
They're
going
not
in
gonna
with
look for
other
those- yeah.
information. But I will say this, because you're so good on trying to catch things and say, like, oh, the time between, that guy should have been down longer. They closed off all key card access. And when Jack goes down to the communication room, the shielded communication room, he grabs a guy who has a key card, and he has him swipe that door, and that door opens up.
He had a code.
He had a
He had a
code. It was a
code?
punch code.
Oh, okay. All right. I
Yeah.
must
Cross that
have
off
looked
your
down.
notes.
I must have looked that down. Okay, look down. I just thought it was a little weird. I thought all the doors would be
No, it's good.
would be frozen because of a lockdown.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that guy would have been able to get in so easily.
Well, and something else, that comm room that he mentioned that he ends up going into was more secure than where they were keeping a guy who apparently just killed, supposedly just killed. Now, those are the kind of things where I'm like,
Right, what's in that
guys, like,
comm
what are
room?
you-
Yeah.
what are you
and it's
doing?
unguarded.
And it was unguarded.
And that room's even though maybe because they felt like nobody can break into it, it was unguarded.
yeah.
And you had these 3 extras just working in there.
You can get in through a vent or apparently put a gun
Or a
to
vent.
to a guy's neck.
I don't know why those women were killing me. They were on the ground and they were crying and they had me laughing. I couldn't help it. It was like sad puppies and they just didn't
You
know.
were laughing
And
at them.
Yeah, I did. I wasn't
You
trying to
weren't
be.
laughing with
I wasn't
them.
trying to be mean, but I'm like, oh, honey, it's Jack. Like,
They're
you're
just
okay.
government
Honeys.
workers.
Honeys, it's okay.
Honeys.
They're just government workers.
just how
They're
I
just
felt.
getting-
Yeah,
they're
I
just
felt
getting
Like,
attention.
I would be honored to be in the presence of such greatness. Like, take me as a hostage, Jack.
Mm.
That's what I feel.
Okay, you sound a little
Oh,
thirsty
boy.
there.
Well, I'm kidding.
I get
I'm
it.
just messing.
Well, all this work that Jack's doing and now being all holed up, it's pretty obvious that he is making a lot of noise.
Yep.
And it's impossible for Chief of Staff Mark Brodeur to actually hide the fact that Jack Bauer is alive and in London right now.
What
as
you gonna do now,
As
Mark?
Navarro calls and tells him, and he's all upset about it. So,
Yeah.
one thing that I think is really interesting too, I won't gloss over. President Heller was not at the embassy, but he was at Parliament doing this discussion, which they never stopped because I guess they didn't know about the attack.
Yeah.
And he does a flawless speech, and all of a sudden, even though we saw hecklers at the end of last week's episode, apparently he won them over while Jack was doing all this.
Do you remember when we were talking about this and we said this would be a great time for Heller to show his leadership, show that he's on point, that that his mind is fully functioning. And then we cut back, and apparently an hour and a half later, he was still at the podium speaking, killing it though, and their ovation was sincere. And they were out. They specifically edited it to show the crowd approving of what he was doing. So,
True.
So it gave you what you wanted.
yes, it did.
So there you go. So Heller is back on form. He might get questioned a little bit later on in the day again.
We didn't talk about it once this episode though.
Yes,
His,
it didn't come up.
yeah,
It didn't come up because Mark is in deep doo doo because he freaking he has to now tell the president and Audrey Jack Bauer is alive and he's holed up in the U.S. embassy with hostages.
Yeah.
He's a damage
regarding
control
attack.
mode for his own
Mark,
sake.
he's done a couple of things that I really don't appreciate so far, which is making me question his character. Number one, after we see what a great job that Heller does tonight, he doesn't congratulate him. I know he just got that text and that call
He's a
about
little
Jack.
stressed out.
Yeah, he's stressed out, but I think that's when you put your foot in your mouth and you say, like, you did a great job, congratulations. It takes 2 seconds. I was wrong, you were right, you really killed it.
I also thought he would wait longer to talk about it in front of Audrey.
And announce it to Heller, but not to Audrey at 1st. I thought that he would at least tell them separately or tell the president before. It was just like blurting it out to a room. There was no sort of, and like you're saying, he kind of was in deep crap at that point, and he just had to say it. Really poorly played.
We saw a flip too because we saw when he first said it, Audrey's pissed at him, and Heller takes his daughter's side right away and says, "Well, we
of
know,
course.
Jack, you don't." Turns to the window. Mark keeps talking, and then he turns around and he says, "Tell the Marines to go when they're ready." And then he was technically back on Mark's side, and you know what I mean. Audrey had Jack's back right away. I thought she'd be a little more shocked.
Well,
that,
Mark did a really good job
He did.
convincing,
He
enrolling him
Yeah.
into getting back on, saying that wherever Jack goes, destruction's in his wake.
I just thought that flip flop was a little interesting on Heller's part. It was like instantly he had Jack's back. That was his natural reaction.
Well, Heller's never been the biggest fan of Jack, especially when it comes to his daughter.
But his natural reaction was to have Jack's back. We'll say, well, we know Jack, you don't. Like,
Yeah.
hold your horses.
And absolutely, even though Mark made a good point, I think that the best point was made by Audrey, which is why would he make this up? Like,
Yes.
what does he have
Yeah.
right now? Why is he back here? He was in hiding, you know?
Yeah.
So
And I love that because old Audrey's back. You know,
Right.
she
Yeah.
was such in command as a character in older episodes, seasons. And it's like, oh, there she is. That's the Audrey we
pre-mental
like.
mental institution.
Yeah.
Pre-mental
Yeah.
institution.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my question though. Audrey is with the president and her father and chief of staff, her husband. But what is her job and position? I don't know that the person's wife, daughter would be in this inner circle.
Well, it's an interesting relationship because obviously the chief of staff is married to the president's daughter, so I guess she's just a confidant. I mean,
She's
kind of
almost
like
the first lady.
kind of like the first ladies is probably knows a lot of the affairs of the president, except for like super high security stuff. I guess
Do you
if
think
she's
that
there.
she would be there, like giving her input and being listened to?
Yeah, I think she's the first lady, the equivalent of
Oh,
that.
wow. She's just okay.
But
Close
so
to it.
She's a confidant at
It's
the
a
very
good
least.
question. That's
She's
a good question.
but I don't think she has an official title. No, I don't.
Right.
She's
It's
always-
it's just such
Yeah.
a strong inner ring.
No,
of, like, strong
absolutely.
titles,
When
and I'm just
she-
confused.
when
If
he
you guys know
worked-
at home, let us know.
Well, when he worked for the Department of Defense, I felt like she had a lot of input on his
She
cabinet,
did. She's very
too.
capable. She's smart. She's sharp, and she gets it.
Yeah.
Which I think is open
Oh,
doors for her
yeah.
to be in
We
the
we
room.
like to call that from Boston. She's wicked smart.
She's wicked smart
She's
over
wicked
here.
smart.
Got herself in the president's.
But
circle
yeah, I
over
mean, it's
here.
definitely a different tier from Department of Defense to President. But I felt like she, from past episodes of 24, she was in the know on everything.
Yeah.
So,
And I think she's super qualified, obviously, but I
Yeah.
just am waiting for like the military guy to be like, okay, we need just the real people with jobs.
So
that
who
were
are you
elected
again? Yeah.
By the people
And
here.
she looks good.
Would they do that with like Michelle
Oh.
Obama? Would they be like Michelle Obama? You need to leave the
Yeah,
office.
don't you like diabetes a cure? No, I'm
but
sorry,
they
going
wouldn't
back to
let, like,
Danny
Sasha-
said Audrey Kim Rather, right? Is her name?
Raver.
Raver. Oh my God, she's aged immaculately.
Yeah, she looks great.
Yeah, she is beautiful.
I think she looks amazing.
Yeah.
You have a scowl, Roxy.
No, I just have kept up with her. She was on she was on Grey's Anatomy for what? She's awesome. So
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I don't even see a change because it's like a good friend that you see every day. I've kept up with a lot of her work, so she's awesome and beautiful.
Absolutely, but obviously Kim Raver. I was gonna say Audrey confronts Mark on this whole thing. Like, why didn't you tell me? She really was hurt, like doubly. Not just, I mean, the president was hurt because he's being withheld this information of somebody he knows personally, but obviously for Audrey, it's twice as bad. And she claims that Mark has a personal agenda.
Absolutely, the ex-love of her life is back in town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that it's clearly why she was not informed. You know, like point blank, Mark did not tell her because she's thinking this in her head. Mark didn't tell me because of one of two things. Number one, he doesn't think I can handle it, and he thinks that I'm going to have a mental breakdown, which I'm not because I'm strong enough. Or number two, there's some jealousy factor, and he's worried that our relationship isn't strong enough, and yeah, we're on the rocks right now. So that makes me question how he feels about me.
Yeah.
On
So,
the rocks.
Live life on the rocks.
Well, you could definitely good acting from Tate Donovan because I really felt he was playing.
Oh, he's brilliant. He's
playing
been
really
so
well
good
in
this
that.
season.
What were you gonna say,
Hey,
Jeffrey?
Donovan.
No, I just think that Audrey, like, it 100% was not told information because of personal stuff.
Right.
But Kim had a great quote this week I read that she was saying that she's a hopeless romantic. And in her mind, Audrey and Jack Bauer are two tortured souls that are, like, just made for each other.
Destiny.
And in her mind, she would like them to end up together.
Ooh-wee.
Well, let us know what you guys want.
Wait, speaking about that, did you guys feel like there was a moment tonight, and I was like, oh God, stay away from that, when, what's his name, the one that was Chloe,
Adrian Cross.
Adrian Cross, sorry, thank you. Adrian Cross was like, why can't you let him go,
Yeah,
you know?
she was like,
And
"You let him go."
it seemed to me like Adrian was thinking this was some sort of romantic, and I was like, stop right there. Like
Let us
that.
fill you in, Adrian.
Yeah, let me tell you
Let me
something,
tell you
Cross.
something, Cross.
Chloe doesn't go there.
I need 8 hours. to
Yeah,
talk.
absolutely. So
the rest of the season.
there's no way that we're pushing it to that point, right?
Right.
No.
No,
Okay.
no, no, no.
With Chloe and Jack?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
no, of course
Not
not.
romantic.
The
They don't
fans
have
would
that.
be enraged.
Enraged.
Yeah, no.
They're like brother and sister at this point. They really are. They've been through so much
Yeah.
together.
Father,
And they
daughter.
brought this mini season back to provide closure to the fans. They've always said, like, by sparking a love interest would not be good.
No, not this late in the
No.
game.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
I just think I agree with you guys. I think we mentioned this before. Audrey just seems from all the seasons of 24, Audrey just seems like the person that really resonates the most as Jack's love interest. He's had a couple
the
of
one who's
others,
stuck, yeah.
but she's the one. I mean, out of
She's the only one who's alive.
Yeah.
She's the one we want.
There's that.
No, Kate from season 2 is alive.
Okay.
Yeah, she's still alive.
Audrey's the one I want. for
But
Jack.
Audrey seems to be the really
I just
big one.
thought he was going to end up with Nina, but
like Tate
whatever.
Donovan, so
You know, I'm still waiting for Jack's...
do?
I like him. He's a good
You
guy.
you want them to end up together?
No, I want Jack to be with.
Oh.
Well, you know, I think Tate
So you don't
Donovan's
like him
such a
enough.
likable actor in everything he does that I like seeing him in this role. I'm like, wow, he's doing really well.
He
I
is
still,
doing.
I still see him from the OC.
I know.
Did we skip
with
over
you.
the scene with Margot and Naveed? Did we?
No, I was going to
We'll
save that
come
for a little
back.
bit later.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, I was
okay.
gonna-
Put it
yeah.
all together.
Yeah, we're not doing linear.
Look
Just
at our
save it
topic
for the
board.
end. Look at the topic board we got.
Before we
I'm
get to
just
Marco,
so
though, I
enveloped.
have to say I'm still convinced that like Alicia Cutthroat is gonna pop Cutthroat.
I like
is
Cutthroat.
gonna Jack's daughter is gonna pop in at
Cam,
some
yeah.
point. I
It'd
don't
have
know
to
if,
be a
like-
time jump, I feel.
No, it's
No,
going
I
to be a
think it's
Skype
gonna
thing.
be like
Beep, boop, beep, boop.
I think it's gonna be like the president's like we need his daughter to help convince him. I just like feel like she's gonna pop up somewhere.
She's
I've
gonna
been saying
be
that
like-
since
I
episode
don't
1.
know.
She's
She's going to say,
coming.
Dad, look at my other kid, because we know she had another kid.
Look,
Yeah.
she's super hot, but I know a lot of 24 fans over the years have really just been annoyed by some of her storylines. So it'd be a nice cameo, but I really can't see her.
Well, she's
having
not
any
going to
impact
show up
on
in
this.
London,
And
so
they're
we
not
know
going to show
that.
her babysitting in underwear anymore. Let's be real.
So why
that-
do we want to see her then?
Just look at season 2 for that.
Episode what? What was that name?
Season
now?
2,
He's
episode
got it
1.
narrowed down.
Episode
Minute,
1. I think
hour.
season
After
two.
the
4
second
minutes and
commercial
37 seconds.
break.
Okay, but
I'm
it's
just
not,
kidding.
I know what you're saying because I read a lot of that about fans being like iffy on her storyline and thinking it was a little soft. But I do think that true fans of 24 would love to see a 5-minute cameo from her. They'd say, "Oh, that was really nice."
I remain that it's going to happen.
Well, let's get back to
Fingers
this
crossed.
episode, at least as far as we'll move on. But I just want to leave off that President Heller is obviously going to try and talk to Jack right before he waffles and decides to change his mind.
But I like the overruled. He said, make it happen.
Yeah, I like that too. But meanwhile, he's not the only person questioning what Jack Bauer is doing there. Kate, super CIA agent Kate, with her partner Eddie,
Eric.
or
We're
Eric
close.
Ritter, yeah.
Eric.
Ritter,
it starts
yeah.
with Eric Ritter. They are
We can
on
call
the
him Eddie
case
if
as
you
well.
want, though.
No, I'll
I'm
call him
gonna
Eric.
do it.
I'll call him Eric. They're on the case, and Kate is starting to, after talking to Tanner and getting very little information, is just starting to think, I need to talk to Jack Bauer. Obviously, he has the answers. He's trying to do something good here, and we need to get in there and find out the truth. And she's being held back by the Marines, who are obviously pissed off because Jack shot them in the body armor.
Yeah, what's really interesting about this storyline to me is how Eric's coming around to be kind of Team Kate. He seems to be
Little
supporting
bit.
her a lot more, which totally goes against my original theory that Eric was some type of mole and on a different
Yeah.
side.
You were the only one who ever thought that.
Well, I think he's good. No, I like that theory,
He is
though.
coming around. You're right, though. I agree.
Yeah, he is, and I appreciate that because I can't help but say I am Team Kate.
There's still some
I'm
mystery
Team
with
Jack,
Eric.
but
There's still some mystery with Eric. I'm still not 100%. I mean, he's going along with her, but I don't know. There's still something we get to learn about him in the future, I think.
Oh, I
Okay.
agree. Yeah. Well, and same thing
Yeah.
with Navarro. See, here's the thing with Navarro. He's so. What we see from him is by the book. He hasn't really swayed either way. The only thing he's really done is let Kate in when when he was told to let her go. He kind of backtracked on that, but he's played everything by the book. We don't know what's going to happen with him. I think he's going to be have a role in.
That's so funny because I really don't think he'll have a big role at all.
I do.
he hasn't played much into anything.
Yeah.
That's
so.
why I think he will.
Oh, that's interesting.
He's our mole.
Well, they showed a little more not a mole, but they showed more of a dynamic with him and that little guy that he basically told stop because you like
Jordan.
Kate. Call Jordan. Thank you.
Yeah.
Calm down because you like Kate. You're letting your feelings make you biased.
That was an interesting
It was
thing
a
that we
development
saw
for both of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can we
That was
talk about
interesting.
what Renaissance era they pulled Jordan from? His little like Shakespeare goatee and mustache, the earring.
Okay,
like a
get over
cloth.
yourself because Jordan
No.
totally hot.
What?
I'm
I
into
feel like
Jordan.
he was like doing like Othello, and they're like, okay, come be in
Well,
24.
don't forget they're in England, so maybe maybe it's like common look amongst some of the youth down there. Common look on the youth.
Common look amongst the youth.
Sounds
like a
Man,
Sounds like a good band name. They'll be on
Yes.
SNL next season.
Totally. It might be some cultural thing out there to look like that. I don't know. But it is interesting to see everyone seems to be now back on board with Kate, more or less. Navarro still, had that little speech with Jordan.
Yeah.
But Kate, again, just doing whatever it takes.
She's degaff,
Yeah. Taking her gun, giving it over to Eric, and then opening up that air vent that she overheard the Marines talking about, and going in there to try and rescue Jack.
Were you guys surprised that she said she was unarmed and she actually was unarmed? Because what would the harm
I'm not
been?
surprised about that.
No, she gave her gun to Ritter. And,
She
and
knows
went
not
and-
to lie to him.
Yeah, she knows. Look, if I'm going to convince Jack, I have to be 100% honest and do it the way he.
It's such a Jack move.
It is a Jack.
It is a Jack move.
Yeah, she's like
She's a mini Jack.
She's a mini Jack.
Yeah.
Well, not even mini.
Also,
she's
she just
a
broke
different
like
gender.
9 million. she just
a
broke like
female
9 million rules on the rule book, and then she's like, "Oh, he's in my custody. You can't touch him."
But
Oh, get back,
But
get
I do
back.
think she, in the back of her mind, she knew that if I can get in there and convince him, she knew that the CIA has precedence over what's going on there, and that this was going to be the final
How
outcome.
is that true, though? How come if she could get in there?
Because she's in the U.S. embassy, so I don't know. I mean, because technically that's U.S. soil, and the CIA operate internationally. But I think technically, and then someone could correct me if I'm wrong here, because an embassy is U.S. soil, that would be FDI jurisdiction would supersede, not CIA.
I just thought it was because she arrested him first.
That's what I was willing to believe.
Is it like
Wait,
a right of?
this might be me being a complete moron, so I'm almost embarrassed to say it out loud, but
Okay, good.
FBI, you mean? Or
Yeah, FBI.
Oh, I thought you said
Bureau-
FDI, which I didn't know what that was.
I meant
But-
if I said that, I meant
Federal
FBI. Federal Department, FBI.
Okay, so
Because they operate under U.S. soil, CIA operate internationally.
I would see what you're saying, except for the fact that I know that somehow you have to be right that she knew she could get in there. That was true. I just don't know how that is true,
that
but
has to
she
be the
obviously
I think
right.
what Jeffrey said is right. I think it's just really she arrested him first, so
Yeah.
she's like
Finders
calling
keepers.
dibs. She's like
Exactly.
dibs.
Which is funny that like the Marines went with it. They're like, you just broke
And then
in.
she got handcuffs from one of the Marines.
She
didn't
put
have
her
own.
body in
No,
front
no,
of
no,
her.
no,
That's in the.
Eric.
That's in the.
That was
Eric
Ritter?
gave it to her.
Ritter gave him to her?
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, she put her body in front of Jack's, like, you have to go through me. You know, it wasn't like she was standing aside, like, oh, he's mine. When you literally use your body as a human shield,
I just
they
think
have to shoot through
she has
you.
authority because if that guy was so upset, that Marine captain there
Mm-hmm.
was so upset
Cordova,
that
yeah.
Cordova would have said, no, get out of the way. Like,
Well,
he
I
told
think
those guys
she
to shoot
heard.
Bauer.
I think she kind of knew that they were going to shoot him this first chance they got, and they were pissed off. Like I said, because he
But like
annoyed them.
what I'm saying is she has to have authority because otherwise he would have said, no, get out of the way.
Yeah.
Now guys shoot him.
Right.
Like he was that, he knew that has to be an authoritative thing. Otherwise he loses his
Well, it
job.
was a beautiful move.
Yeah.
Somebody we haven't talked about yet, though, who I think is going to play some sort of a role
Who?
is not Cordova, but the guy that he kept looking at that I said looked like a 12-year-old.
That sniper guy?
The sniper guy.
Yeah.
I think that's just for that episode.
No, we kept
no.
seeing, they
He got
kept
his
showing
SAG
his
card.
face.
He got out of there.
He did. No, I
No,
agree.
no,
It's typical
no.
24 episode.
But why
where-
did we keep seeing his face? He played no role.
Because he had played the role of he was the one that Cordova trusted to do the killing shot.
He's coming back, guys.
No.
Yes,
I will
yes.
bet you money that he will not be coming back.
I will bet you.
Let me
Jack
check
is
on
going to be
IMDb.
Jack is going to be out. Jack is going to be out of the embassy next hour. Yeah, we're not.
I
Gonna
will
see
bet you
that
that
guy
next
again.
week you wear your hair in a high bun on the top of your head.
Yeah, ooh, take that.
Take that bet.
I'll
Take that
take that bet.
Okay, there you go. Deal. All right, cool. We got a bet here.
You know what I think? I think Benjamin Bratt is gonna play a bigger role.
That's what I just said.
I think he needs to get in the field. I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
I
did
think.
you say
Yeah,
that?
I definitely think.
I can see that, too.
because we haven't seen him flip flop either way, really yet.
Also, he's like such a big actor. He was like so
Didn't we
excited.
just have an interaction where he said he thought he was going to play a bigger role, and you said you didn't think he was going to play any sort of big role?
that was Eric.
No, you were
talking
talking. No,
about
you were talking
Eric
about
before.
Steve Navarro.
Who
No,
are you
Navarro.
talking about?
He was talking about Navarro before. He was saying having a bigger role.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
on Eric. I think Eric's not gonna be like
Oh,
a
no.
massive
Ritter?
big thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is
no,
it
no.
Eric Ritter?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we were talking about Steve Navarro,
Oh
Yeah.
no! I think
which
that,
is Benjamin Bat.
Oh, I was saying that I think Eric Ritter's gonna stay like the Robin to Kate's Batman and just
Oh.
like, be a nobody.
I think he's gonna get put in a. Well, these are all predictions, but I just think he's gonna get put in a corner where he's gonna have to make a decision, and I think he's gonna go with the good side.
Yeah,
Come
but I
to
think
the light
Navarro
side.
definitely. Like, Benjamin Bratt's so mad he signed on 24. He's like so excited, and he has to stay at CIA headquarters.
No.
No,
We're
we
gonna see a big
know.
role
We
from-
we
yeah.
always see the head of, and not that he's the head of CTU, but we always see the head of the.
For all intents and purposes,
office
he is the head of
always,
CTU.
Yeah, for all our intents and purposes, he might as well be the head of CTU. We always see they have a big part to play.
I just miss
so
the
he's
ringtone,
definitely
man.
going to be there. He's definitely
miss
going to
it.
be there.
R.I.P.
I need to
I
see
want to
it.
get that.
They don't. They have an
Sounds like
English
a-
version of it.
It's overplayed.
Time establisher that ringtone.
Yeah, it's overplayed. Too many people have it as their text tone.
I haven't heard. Oh, we'll talk about it.
But anyway, so Kate ends up rescuing Jack in the nick of time. You know, what's funny about
need to
this
get outta here.
episode? What's funny about this episode too is so much is supposed to happen this episode, and even though, Audrey finds out Jack's alive, there's some stuff that happens. Ultimately, nothing really happens. Jack
We
has
see
this
some
flight
blood,
key.
though.
Well, yeah, we do. But Jack has this flight key, and he can't even
Yeah.
send it out because it takes 30 minutes to send it over to
Yeah.
Adrian and Chloe.
Well, because it's got to get encrypted.
and
Just
all
put it in
encryption.
a zip drive.
Okay.
Like, are you kidding?
I understand, but for you to say that we don't see anything, I'm just literally sitting here grasping onto all my fingers, so blessed that I have them all. That's all I can think about.
Oh, yeah.
I have all my
Hashtag,
fingers.
oh my
so if
God.
nothing happens, then that's fine.
I
My
get
fingers-
that. No, I get that. There's a lot of character development that happens, but plot-wise, because the other thing that we're about to go into also is the fact that Margot is about to get control of the drones, and they said earlier in the hour they'd have it within the hour, but they didn't have it accessible
No,
yet.
at the
she said
very
that
end of the
he would-
episode, they
yeah,
had it.
They had it at
exactly.
the very, very end. Yeah.
She said that her son would have. He was like within the hour where they'll be ready for flight,
Yep.
Yeah.
which they were.
Okay.
Naveed.
It's like
All right.
57 minutes. Come on.
But
Give
again,
him a
it's
break.
like, all right, okay, I'll give him a break. But anyway, so let's actually move on. I think now's a good time to move on to Margot and Simone and Naveed,
God.
because we definitely saw last week that Naveed seemed a little off. He didn't seem to be on board with
Yeah.
the terrorists.
Don't like him.
And after
You don't
them-
like Naveed?
Nope.
Oh, really?
No.
Why not?
I don't like him.
You're
He's
against
crooked. Don't
Naveed?
trust him. I don't trust. Even if I was Margot, I don't trust him. And if I'm Jack, I don't trust him. Nobody trusts him.
Naveed?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's the thing. Margot has just cut off his wife's fingers.
Simone,
Hold on.
yeah.
By the way, did
Simone.
you guys notice which finger it was?
Yeah, the
ring
ring,
finger.
ring
The
ring
finger
finger.
with the ring
With
on
the
it.
ring on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, also, did that remind you of like the Mission Impossible movie where like the cigar tipper, they like put their
Yeah.
fingers?
Oh.
Yeah, that's a
Remember
good
that?
scene too.
That
Okay,
was...
so here's the deal. Margot pretty much has a gun to his head saying, you will do anything I want with the drones. He has all the power though. Why doesn't he just like send a drone to her house and kill himself?
Because he's in her house.
He didn't...
He wants to die.
I don't
He
understand what you're
He
saying.
would rather give his own life than have all these millions of
Yeah, but he
innocent
doesn't want to
people.
give his wife's life.
He's saying if he has the power, if he's piloting the drones, why don't he just take control and do whatever?
Because it's
he
about
wants to do?
Simone. It's about Simone, who he loves.
Yeah, but I'm saying if he's gonna die, he will take his wife out with him.
No,
And
he
that's-
doesn't.
I don't think he has a
Doesn't want
death
him.
wish.
I think he has a death wish over the killing of innocent people.
Well, I think he was ready. He was definitely ready to die.
Yeah, he said, "Do whatever you want to me. I'm not
Do
going to
whatever
change."
you want to me. And she said, I believe you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then she grabbed her own daughter, who she trained, to be a terrorist, and who I would think she loves. She trusts her a lot. And she grabbed her and started cutting digits off of her hand.
Digits. She's down to
It's-
9.
Yeah.
Especially after Simone went to Margot. Yes, Margot initiated a conversation, but
Yeah,
Simone
she
said
told
exactly what
her.
was happening. She didn't try to hide it.
Oh,
When Margot said, "I'll do whatever it takes," do you hear me? I was like, "Oh, she's gonna do something to Simone."
I know.
Oh, you figured?
Yeah.
To me, that kind of
chick is
surprised me a little
crazy.
bit. I guess I felt it was her daughter. I guess I just felt that she would definitely stand by her a little bit more.
Oh,
but-
no.
I think Margot's character and the actress playing her are the most terrifying combination
Yeah.
I've ever seen on TV.
Yeah.
She is the new Lord Voldemort.
Oh,
Yeah.
Michelle Farrelly, she's great. She's great on Game of Thrones, which I
Yeah.
believe you guys aren't as up on.
Stop it.
But,
We're gonna
uh,
see some
to-do
fun
list.
stuff from her. More
Yeah,
fun
but it's a
stuff.
completely different character on that show. But
Completely different.
yeah, she's a terrorist, and I am
At
terrified.
heart.
Also, her and Simone look a lot alike. Like, props to the casting director.
Yeah, props on the yeah, definitely props on the casting director.
Do you guys think that Margot prefers her son to Simone?
No.
No, it just
I
happened
don't
to
think
be.
she has
No.
any
I
I don't think we
preferences.
know yet.
You don't think she cares about
I don't
either?
think we
We'll see
know
more from
yet.
her son.
I think
we'll
right
see
now
more.
the son's also like just got his sad card and got a couple extra lines in
Yeah.
there, but I don't know how much of a.
I think we're gonna see more from him.
I'm
think
not
it-
sure about that.
I think that the son is like indisposable because he's the hacker.
Well, I'm just wondering why he's not the pilot.
Yeah, that is curious. I guess it's Naveed apparently has some background being a pilot that he can operate it that the son can't.
Yeah,
so,
I'm not sure about that
which
either.
is weird. But Naveed is apparently too important to kill. So either way, because she instead of killing him and getting somebody else to pilot it, she feels he's important enough that she's gonna hack off the hand of the fingers of her daughter to get him to
A lot of
do
hacks
something.
going
Okay, technical question, which again, sorry if this is idiotic, but
Stop
the
it.
last time that they overtook the drone, that was Tanner's drone, and they did it to show that they could do it, and they blamed it on Tanner.
Mm-hmm.
There was nobody flying it. What do you need a pilot for? What do you don't? Isn't it all like beep boop
It's
beep boop?
it's at least monitored. So even though a drone is being flown,
But he's not like on in danger.
well, but at any moment someone has to be able to take over the controls and manually fly it.
But
so
who is
Wait,
doing
it's
that
up-
for?
That's a great point. The original hacker who made the tool to
Right.
break
Derek
in
Yates.
was droning it himself. He was driving it. So why can't the brother drive it?
Right, because
Is
you
that
don't
what
have
you're saying?
exactly. Like I just am not understanding because
Like anybody could just pop in the driver's seat.
Like
and
if
boom.
Derek
Right, because
Yates
it doesn't
can do
seem-
it, why can't
No,
anybody?
it's training. It's not just a video. I mean, it's not just a video game. I think it's a specific skill set. That,
Left, right, X,
Well, that
Y.
Naveed
But
has.
if this guy can set it up, so the son can set it up so that everything's ready, I feel like he clearly would have the skill set.
Well,
Okay, well,
that-
on that point, if the son is that smart that he can just set up this network, then he should know that his mom's got cameras in every room and all this stuff is going on. And if he's a brother, maybe he looks out for his sister and lets her know that there's a camera above his bed, shouldn't sleep with Naveed while the mom's watching. I could go down that rabbit hole all day long.
I
Yeah,
just
they're
think
like-
it's confusing.
I
with
would look at.
who's-
I would say
There
this.
is,
I would
I
look
agree.
at the son as, I hate to say this, a little bit more of an IT kind of guy, and maybe he knows how to make the system operational, but he still doesn't mean he knows exactly how to fly the plane. Or maybe he does, but not with the precision.
He's just a fan.
Needed.
He's not a player.
That Naveed has.
Okay, and we're taking out 10 targets.
The
10
10
drones.
drones. They're
10
10. They can
drones.
take control of 10 drones.
And she said the most heavily armed ones.
And
which
we
means
said,
maybe
and
multiple.
last week, if I remember correctly, they
6.
said each drone had
Has
6
6
Hellfire
missiles.
missiles.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
So
That's devastating.
that's 60. That could be 60 targets potentially.
So one pilot can take control of 10 drones and 60 Hellfire missiles.
Yeah, that's a big video game, by the way. It's like you're operating 10 different ships at once. So I guess you really need somebody who knows their stuff.
Okay.
I know that this information isn't like publicized, but are there actually that many unmanned drones around the world
More.
flying?
More.
Fantastic.
There might be one right here.
I'm just going to never leave my room ever again. Like hide under my bed.
Roxy never comes back for the rest of the season.
Where'd the chick Roxy go?
Where'd that girl pigtails go?
Would that count as wearing a bun on top of my head next week?
Yeah, well, you will be.
And a helmet.
You will be wearing that. So I'm predicting that already.
Are we moving into those?
I think
Almost, but I think did we get everything we need right here?
well,
Besides
on the
two?
subject of Margot, though, we see that next week she's revealed herself to the president. So I think that's an interesting dynamic that then they now can trust Jack because everything he said has come true.
is validated.
Yeah, and it's not like a mass terrorist. Like they have a name and identity now. They can find her.
Well, we definitely see. We also see in those clips that he has this conversation with the president where he asked to be put back in the field.
Or does
it looks
he?
like he's going to
so
possibly get
Or we are in
back
predictions.
to. Well, we're not in predictions yet. We're just talking about the clips, but I guess we're
don't
about
matter.
to be. You want to go to predictions? We have. Have we done everything? Is there anything
I'd like
else
to
on
hear
this
the prediction
episode?
music right now.
Let's do it.
God, Marissa's so
We're
good.
speaking a mile a minute.
Your
My
after
ears.
Well, we got to. That's how the show goes.
Yeah. There we go. Thank you very much, Marissa.
Tiny ears that don't like these headphones.
So who wants to lead off with predictions? Danny, would you want to lead off with us here?
Listen, when they showed Jack talking to the president and he says, "You want me to put you back in the field?" Do you think that was Jack asking, or do you think that was Heller suggesting,
I think it was Jack asking.
I think it was Jack asking. It was,
Was
Jack.
it?
It was Jack.
or was it Jack saying, "Look, I'm just telling you all this information," and Heller goes, "Listen, do you want me to just put you back in the field?"
Nah.
Which way does that conversation
Because
No,
I
go?
tell you,
think
because
Jack-
Heller doesn't trust Jack 100%.
It doesn't
but
matter
Jack
because
is
here's my
passionate.
prediction.
What is
Jack's
it?
back in the field by the end of next episode with clearance from President Heller.
Way.
Full on. Jack, whatever you need, I got your back. It's validated. I saw Margot on the camera. What you said was true. This is happening.
Way
That's my
to
How
prediction.
go
could that
on
be
the skinny
possible?
branches.
How could they all let him out, even to save the world? How can they justify that?
Because it's Heller, and Heller knows that Jack's
Yeah.
heart of hearts.
And it's
And then
24.
Audrey might convince him.
and it's
somehow.
24. It always
Audrey,
happens.
Mark's
that
gonna flip
way.
over and have his back. Mark and Jack are gonna have a moment. These things are happening. It's in motion. You can see it.
I think that I
That's just what
agree
I
with what
think.
you're saying, and on a different note, I think that Simone is going to turn against Margot and realize that her mom's a psycho who doesn't care about her life, and somehow she's going to play a part. Simone and Naveed are going to sideline and decide that they're done with Margot.
You think Simone will be the defector?
Yeah, with Naveed, I definitely think so. We see that Margot sent in that video next week saying, "Give me Heller." I
Yeah.
think somehow Simone's going to realize, like, okay, I'm missing my finger. My mom doesn't care about me. She already seemed a little skeptical about this cause, and
Wait, for a perfect storm, do you think that we see Margot lose any of her fingers this season via Simone?
I hope she loses both hands.
Oh, wouldn't that like what's his name in that season where they cut off Kim's fiance's hand. At the
Oh,
end of
in season 3.
What was his name?
In season 3,
starts
it
with
was
a C.
Chase.
Chase.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't remember.
Ah,
season 3.
Remember his
In Mexico.
wrist was attached and they chopped
Yeah.
his hand off to save the bomb and they reattached it?
I don't remember.
They show him reattached in season 4.
Yeah, I believe it was Chase. Yeah, totally.
They did reattach it.
Yeah, they showed it reattached in season 4.
Oh. It
was
He
really-
talked about his surgery and
God. I'm getting sick.
with an axe.
It was
Jack
really
did it.
Why are you
crazy.
so happy about that?
Guys, I love when stuff gets little ribbons
Jeff.
tied and it's perfect.
Jeff, what do you got for us on predictions?
I don't have a prediction per se, but I think the Margot storyline's interesting that she wants Heller. Like, I think she could have asked for anybody in the world, like it'd be like Angelina Jolie or like Hillary Clinton, and yet she wants the president of the
'Cause he has
United
power.
States. But she like
Why would
wants
she want
him.
Angelina Jolie?
I don't know. She likes her hair. I don't know. No,
Valid.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know why. I mean, I know that's power, but like, I think that's the one person could never be given to her.
Not be given, but I think she went straight to the top of the ladder.
But what does she want to do with him?
For just
Kill
like
him?
a movie star.
I don't know. I think it's more powerful to have him hostage.
But what does she want from him? She wants to kill him, or she
No,
wants to
I
make
think
an
she
example of
wants
him?
diplomatic decisions to be made. Her husband was killed in a drone attack.
Right.
That's true.
So what's she gonna
wants,
do with
She
him
wants
now?
policy changes. She wants to show.
I just don't see how that's even like a debate. That sure, we'll give you the POTUS.
No, it's not. It'll never happen. I mean, that's clearly what we stated. But I think she has to go to that with this threat. She has to go to that level.
Nobody's made predictions about the flight key and Kate. Anybody got anything there?
Well, I was going to say, for my prediction, I was going to say, first of all, Naveed's dead. Naveed's going to die within an episode. Now, that once he starts to pilot the drones, and they're going to find a way to try and just have him programmed to hit the targets, and then she's just going to do away with Naveed.
Somebody
So I
else
think
is going to
he's
pilot
gone.
these drones.
I
Here's,
think he's gonna be
here's
gone.
a question. Who else do we know that knows how to pilot drones?
I think
Nobody
the
else,
sun.
but I think
Tanner! So does Tanner get stolen by Margot to do these drones
No.
once Naveed is dead?
No, I think it's the sun, guys. I think
That's
the
not
sun's
that
gonna
far a
pilot-
reach.
I just think Naveed's going to die just because Margot's going to put some revenge on him for having her do what she did to her own daughter.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And then I think Kate is going to end up teaming up with Jack. I think Jackie is going to go out in the field just like you said,
Yeah.
Danny, and Kate's going to be his partner.
Oh,
And
like
Eric will
or,
probably
like,
be a
Kate
B
has
team
to
and do something else.
babysit him if he
Amen,
goes back
brother.
out.
Something like that. Yeah, she'll definitely will be there either as his watcher, his partner, whatever it is.
It doesn't quite make sense though, because if you remember a few episodes ago when Steve is talking to Eric and he's like, "It's literally like Kate is not there right now. So if anything goes wrong, that's on you."
But Jack trusts her.
But Jack wouldn't be there either, and Kate wouldn't be there. So Eric's gonna have to be the
Jack's
one
going to have
on the
power
line.
above Navarro.
Jack's going to have power above Navarro to pick who he wants to be with.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Kate trusts and Kate trusts him, and it seems like Eric doesn't. So I think he would just
Ritter's
go
on
for
the
the person.
fence.
Yeah, he's coming around.
He goes for loyalty.
Did we
When
mention
I
to that
come
Tanner is going to
around.
be in the new Star Wars movie?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we mentioned
okay.
We
that.
did. John
Never
Boyega.
mind. Roll tape.
No,
Very
it's all
fast.
good. It's all good.
He's gonna blow up.
So, Roxy, where can we find you during the week?
You can find me everywhere at Roxy Stryer.
And where can we find you, Danny?
I also want to say you can also find Roxy next week putting a bun on the top of her head.
Yes,
you can find me
you
on
can.
Twitter at Danny Hoyt, DANNYHOYT.
You can
Jeff.
find me at the Pinks on La Brea, 7 to 3 weeknights. I'm also on Twitter, Jeff Masters 1.
Thanks for hot dogs. Yes, absolutely.
Minus the earphones.
You can find
delicate
you can find
ears.
me on Twitter at Nandovel, Nandovel. You can find us all here on various AfterBuzz shows. You're doing Bachelorette in a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, and tune in next week at our regular time, which is I believe 10 o'clock Pacific time for another episode of 24 Live Another Day. Thanks.
I forgot to say something, you guys. What? John. Sorry. Oh, it's not right now. Oh my gosh.
Say it.
John
You
Cassar
stopped
tweeted.
Marissa.
Did you know they were just filming episodes 7 and 8 this week?
Oh, really?
wow.
Still filming them. They had 2 days off. They started resuming May
Ooh,
18th.
really
Just a
good.
few days ago.
All right.
Wow.
Well, tune in next week. We'll have more to
Yesterday.
talk about that kind of stuff. So,
Bye.
bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
you later.
Later.
Bye.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.